Not high enough.
But on the second rip, he got it over to Reggie Williams. Michael Jackson's 30. He'll run things. Bill Martin's 24. They get it into Ewing. Game's first shot.
Well, it was stated by St. John's they were going to try to play him man-to-man and let Winnington handle him by himself. Ewing took it right to him. Straight man-to-man.
They drop back on Berry. He keeps the ball. Wants to get more in this game than he was the last time. Misses his first shot. Martin brings it back out. Reggie Williams.
Looking like they're going for the knockout punch right from the beginning, and St. John's just needs to calm down a little bit. Full court pressure, and in all of their games this year, St. John's has handled the press fairly well.
Must see now if Wingate takes Mullen through any kind of special defense.
Well, they showed man-to-man the first time down the court. Now they're showing a little triangle and two, it looks like.
Willie Glass. First foul on Ewing.
John Thompson working the referees right away. Patrick Ewing had his hand up. That was a smart play by Willie Glass to go ahead and try to challenge Ewing. In watching Patrick play over the years, he's developed now to the point that sometimes he blocks your shot, sometimes he just goes out to intimidate you, and then sometimes he lets you alone. He keeps you off balance at all times. Willie Glass just a 60% free throw shooter.
And he makes it despite the distraction. Jackson comes up on Moses short. Very rebounding St. John.
Moses got a piece of that ball. Jackson's tough to handle one-on-one.
Berry staying out a little bit higher. Now he rotates with Mullen. Winnington inside. He stepped out of bounds on the turnover. It'll go to the Hoyas.
Now, Brent, looking at this Georgetown defense, it's very difficult to determine exactly what they're playing now. I think St. John's be wise to pull the ball out, get in some kind of motion for a couple of passes so that they can figure out exactly what the defense is so they can attack it. Man-to-man for St. John's. That's a push on Bill Winnington. And he's got a load to handle in Patrick Ewing. Patrick is so strong. And Winnington realized he's not going to get a lot of help, so it's just he and Patrick. Mullen hurt himself.
In the shoulder, he was right shoulder area. Wingate coming back is short of everything, and Martin cleans up for Georgetown.
Mullen reached back in to help out on Ewing, and he hurt his shoulder. He's trying to shake it off.
It's his right or non-shooting shoulder.
And it is a triangle and two that they're playing.
Berry couldn't hold on. Loose. Wingate with a great pass to Jackson. Williams.
The Georgetown team has a group of players that have such great hands that catch the ball on the move.
St. John's does not want to fall out of this one early.
Now Martin, Ewing, and Williams are playing the zone. Jackson playing a little man-to-man.
Glass coming up inside. Offensive foul on Glass.
Now here's what Chris Mullen does so well. He's real good at reaching in and making a steal, but you can see when he reached in on Patrick Ewing, Ewing is so strong, he probably deadened that arm a little bit of Chris Mullen. I think he's shaking it off now.
Georgetown jumps out to an 8-2 lead.
Wingate on Mullen. Now that's something John Thompson wants so that Wingate can take him one-on-one.
Williams will ship it to Ewing. Gets it back loose. Ewing tracks it down. Ewing again, jump hook.
A new shot in Patrick Ewing's arsenal. It was the big shot that Ewing used in the DePaul game. Louis saying, I want a timeout. I don't know what kind of defense they're playing at this point.
Wingate staying right with him.
Boxing one now.
He'll chase him through there. They'll try to screen and get him free if they can. His first shot.
Boxing one, excellent screen. Louis Carnesecca got what he wanted. And here come the paper onto the floor, the traditional Eastern basketball habit where they throw the...
A little bit late.
Yeah, well, hey.
It's 6. We really can't say Eastern unless we've decided that Georgetown is no longer East.
Oh, they're not East? I didn't realize
No,
that.
I'm kidding you.
Fake me out there.
16 minutes to go, 10-4. Wingate. Loose, picked up by Williams.
You notice how Wingate was isolated, though, with Mullen. Mullen has a hard time handling him one-on-one.
Ewing maneuvering.
Patrick being very aggressive early in the game to go ahead and show that he can do it offensively. St. John's uses the dribble by Moses and the pass to Winnington to beat the press. Winnington comes back up court for a long pass. Ewing stays away from him. Boxing one again.
Mullen coming completely around the box.
Not a good
short
shot.
of the shot. Martin rebounding. Here's Jackson. Lead to Wingate.
What an athlete. That was an incredible catch.
St. John's with its work cut out early.
Here Moses is given the shot, takes it.
Winnington, offensive rebound. Foul by Martin.
Smart foul by Billy Martin, just not going to let Winnington get an easy one.
Right away, McDonald checking in for Georgetown. Wingate will sit down, and it'll be McDonald's turn to chase Mullen.
Well, Wingate also got on the break there, so has to be a little bit tired, but John Thompson uses these two players. He just uses one and then the other to keep them fresh and out of foul trouble. Winnington normally a very good free throw shooter, 81%.
Winnington, the third Olympian on the floor. He, of course, played for the Canadian national team.
For Georgetown, number 10, Perry McDonald, faces David Wingate.
Ewing out high. Martin, great from that spot.
There's where you've got to give John Thompson a lot of credit for coaching. He makes his players take the shots from where they like them. They take very few bad shots.
St. John's only 1 of 4. The floor, very maneuvering inside. They hit the glass. Winnington has it taken away. Ewing breaking free with Martin, and they travel.
Did you see Patrick Ewing get out on the fast break when he realized somebody else had the rebound? He's a gazelle. He moves as well from offense to defense and vice versa as any big man that's ever played the game. He's got that great first step.
The difference in the game.
Chris Mullen being hounded. Now it's a 1-3-1 half-court trap.
Berry and Ewing took him out of it, but he got the ball to Winnington. Score the basket, and we'll bring Bill Winnington to the free throw line.
Good move by St. John's, and I think this is really a key. You've got to keep Patrick Ewing occupied, and Walter Berry is one of the few players in the country that can take the ball at Patrick Ewing and either pass off or get the shot off. He has a great repertoire of shots inside.
That's the first foul on Williams.
Shooting one, Bill Winnington.
Rodnax, he comes into the game, and Wingate returns. Martin again from the right wing. Rebounded Moses. They had a player ahead, but he couldn't pick up Berry, so he drives down, knocked away by Wingate from the rear. Martin to Williams. Quick pass to Ewing. He misses, and Mullen rebounds, but again Ewing on the move down the floor.
That was some real speed on that break. They didn't get 2 points out of it, but they really showed that ball club can run.
Broadnax goes down, offensive foul. Moses pushed into him, and Dalton will send Ewing to the bench for a break.
And if Georgetown were to win this national championship, Ralph Dalton has got to be a guy they've got to go ahead and remember for that Georgia Tech performance. Sensational 10 minutes.
Thompson getting his players in the game here in the early going, giving them all a feel of it. Jackson will check in for St. John's. Moses sits down. It's now Jackson's team to run.
Georgetown, number 13, Jackson.
Well, you know, when you talk about Jackson and Moses, you're talking about 2 players that average about 12 a game. When you know they take each other's position. From an assist standpoint, they have about 210 assists apiece.
Williams.
Reggie Williams really wasn't on balance and still was able to hit that shot.
Tailing Mullen. Pump fake, draws 2, and Winnington comes out. They shift to Jackson. Mullen maneuvering, comes up on Wingate. Missing but tapped in.
That was
Glass.
Willie Glass, and of course Mullen's shot is so soft up there on the rim.
Dalton. He's into the scoring column.
Georgetown playing that box again. Box in 1, and Wingate's chasing Mullen.
Berry comes in from outside. So they have Berry handling the ball more outside and trying to get in for some shots. Wingate missing, Winnington rebounding. Here comes Jackson. St. John's trying to put together a run. And Jackson drove right into his man.
And for the second time today, Brent, Jackson on that occasion and Moses the last time tried to penetrate too far. Against Georgetown, you're just not going to get that play.
Michael Jackson checks in for Georgetown. Last year here in Lexington, they tried to get the other Michael Jackson to appear in a concert. He backed out. So out on the marquee in front of Rupp Arena is Saturday, Michael Jackson, sold out.
Jackson wasn't looking. Dalton threw him that pass. You know, I mentioned about Jackson and Moses as a combination. Jackson and Broadnax for Georgetown average about 12 points together. So although they split playing time, it's like one player out there.
Broadnax took the shot.
Oh, Willie Glass. Willie Glass
Dalton to the floor. Dalton jumps back up.
It's a nice piece of officiating there, realizing, hey, the tempers are flaring a little bit here. No need to call a foul, just settle them down.
No question that Glass tripped Dalton to the floor as he was getting up. There's not a great deal of love lost between these two teams. They've had skirmishes in their previous 2 games in Madison Square Garden. Mullen was knocked down hard by Pat Ewing in the second game.
There's Mullen surrounded by 3 men. He's going to have a very difficult time getting off any shot with a guy like Wingate on him.
What they want out of him today is more passing, and Berry drew the foul. Jackson's first.
Well, you can't go ahead and double team Chris Mullen without leaving Walter Berry open because his man is the one sloughing off. So if St. John's is to get a run, they've got to get a run with Walter Berry scoring.
Jones, the freshman, checks in, and Glass sits down for the Redmen. Now,
Georgetown has their big lineup in there with Dalton and Ewing. Tough to get something inside.
Oh, Berry feeling it today, and Jackson underneath had it come right into his hands. Look what I've got amidst all these Redwoods. Jackson with a hand on it. Here come the Redmen. Chris's head. Should be easy.
St. John's hanging in there, Brent. You get a feeling that although they were knocked out there early in the ball game, they brought it back within 6, playing very confidently right now.
Berry's game is entirely different than it was in the Garden.
Well, the key is to get him the ball. If he gets it offensively, he plays a full game.
Jackson from the perimeter. The Hoyas with an 8-point lead. 9:43 to go in the first half. The winner will play Villanova for the national championship Monday night.
Oh, good double team by Broadnax. Great play.
Traveling. So it's 24-16. The Hoyas leading the Redmen. Time remaining in the first half. Ewing. Swatted away. Goaltending on Jones, the freshman.
Now that shows Patrick Ewing's versatility offensively. He has shown us the jump hook. He has shown us the clockwise turnaround jumper and the counterclockwise turnaround jumper. He's got the whole package. Now the zone trap. This is not the same press as they faced before. And back to the box and one again. So Georgetown throwing so many things at St. John's.
Winnington swings up a hook. Shelton Jones comes down the line with an offensive rebound and a basket.
That's why it's important to make Patrick Ewing guard somebody. He can't control the whole lane.
Wingate. Jackson controlling for the Redmen.
Shelton Jones hasn't had a lot of playing time as a freshman this year at St. John's, but he's sure to be one of the best sophomores in the country next year with the playing time. Billy Martin now on Patrick Ewing. Wingate got caught on a pick.
So Martin will take Mullen on the inside.
Now's the time to get the ball to Walter Berry. He's going to have a smaller man on him. He's going to have Wingate on him. There he is.
There it is. And Ewing to help out, but Berry scores the field goal.
That's a smart play by St. John's.
2 of 5 for Berry, his last 2 shots. St. John's can pull back to within 2. Remember, they were down earlier by 11 points. I'm Brent Musburger with Billy Packer. We are live in the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. This is the second national semifinal, the NCAA championship. Villanova eliminated Memphis State in the first game and will play the winner of this contest Monday night for the national title.
Straight man-to-man by Georgetown. Now the first time today they showed a straight man.
Jackson gets inside and goes to Winnington.
I'm really impressed the way St. John's is starting to recognize the defenses now and relaxing and then attacking. That's what they didn't do the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game.
And they're doing it with Jackson as the point guard and Shelton Jones in, and it's going to be offensive foul. It goes over to St. John's. They can pull to within 2.
Reggie Williams back in the ball game. Ewing picks up his second.
Jackson and Ewing backcourt to help out. Now they get into Winnington. They don't pursue the advantage.
Walter Berry wanted the lob pass. Notice that.
Inside to Winnington with a great move on Ewing. Fake to the left and cut back to the right side on him.
Now Winnington has played against Ewing so many times in their career, plus in the Olympic Games. of experience.
Jackson, Winnington, St. John's can tie it. And the foul called on Michael Jackson.
That was a good foul by Jackson on Jackson, because otherwise St. John's had an easy layup. They're starting to gain a lot of confidence in this ball game.
One of the dangers of beating a team as easily as Georgetown handled St. John's the last 2 times out is that emotion in athletics will switch. And the team that has lost will work a little bit harder, which I suspect St. John's probably has coming up to this game. Mullen.
Boy, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. He can shoot that jumper.
Georgetown last scored at 9:20. Williams ends that drive. Bad pass. Jackson was right there in the lane. Coming around, Winnington. Missing. Martin. And it's a jump ball. It'll go over to St. John's. The possession arrow pointing for the Red.
Possession to St. John's.
They dodged the bullet there. That was a bad pass. Rodnack's coming in, Jackson out.
Jackson sits down.
And here's the 1-3-1 full court zone press. Georgetown shows it and then drops back. Straight man-to-man now.
Jackson. A little too much pressure on his release. Rodnack's.
Chris Mullen lost his man, looking to make a steal.
Rodnack's again from the perimeter. And he's 2 of 2 here in the first half.
Not guarding Shelton Jones outside. He's got to get a little closer to the basket to get his jump shot off.
Completely different pace than what we saw in game 1 between Villanova and Memphis State. Winnington, that time, he traveled. So that pressuring defense of John Thompson's taking its toll again.
There's a trap defense now by St. John. 1-3-1 trapping half-court zone. Always a good idea at halftime to change it when you get a timeout to change your defense and make that other team think a little bit. Georgetown well drilled themselves, pulls it back out, and they're going to make that half-court trap run a little bit.
Wingate gives it up. Williams is there. Jump hook and got the roll on it.
Only 2 players that play together at a high school and on a playground in college for a long time would realize the other man's here. That was just a feel for the game on that pass. Walter Berry feels he can score.
Into Glass, who got 2 men up in the air and drew the foul. He'll shoot a pair.
Willie Glass, a role player this year, has accepted his role very well. He's a powerful young man that can really get up in the air.
That foul was called on Martin, his second. Georgetown over the limit. St. John's with 4 team fouls at the 3:20 mark. Since St. John's came back to tie the score, Georgetown has been on a 6-0 run.
Willie Glass hit his first 2. As we pointed out, not a real top-notch free throw shooter at 60%.
You've seen both of them.
Straight man-to-man again.
Williams, cross court to Rodnack. They bring it back out to Wingate. Steal by Berry off of Martin's pass.
That's a case where the ball fake didn't isolate the defensive man enough. Just telegraphed the pass.
Mullen hitting Winnington, and he draws the foul. Coming inside. And Thompson unhappy with Martin, who drew his third personal foul.
And Brent, St. John's now is attacking that defense a little differently. They're putting Chris Mullen on the foul line, and of course you just saw right there what a great passer he is. If he gets the ball in the lane, he'll hit somebody.
Brady Mateen replaces Martin.
John Thompson used his bench very liberally in the December and January months, so he knows what these fellas can do for spot duty.
So St. John's has scored for the first time in nearly 3.5 minutes. 2:36 to go, first half here at Lexington.
St. John's going back to their half-court trap now.
Jackson Williams keeping it outside.
Patrick Ewing's out of the game right now. If you're Louis Carnesecca, you'd like Georgetown to have to go ahead and put the ball up some instead of hanging on to it and working the clock. They might have to go out and play a little man-to-man.
This has been in the past the weakest part of Georgetown's game.
Well, with only 4 team fouls, I think St. John's would be wise to go out man-to-man and play. You're down to 1:40, you can afford to foul.
Wingate, and it's deflected to Mateen, and he's attacked right away. Comes up with a jump shot from behind. Berry blocks it, and now it's Mullen.
Mullen almost thought about throwing that ball to Jackson, but he realized he's 4 points down. It would have had to be a perfect pass.
Berry walked, he traveled before he shot. That is the 10th turnover by St. John's in the first half. And a reminder at halftime, Dick Stockton will show you highlights of Villanova's victory over Memphis State.
St. John stays in that half-court trap. Again, I point out with just 4 team fouls, St. John's can afford to be very aggressive, going for steals here. Even if they commit the foul, it doesn't put Georgetown on the line. They're going to waste that good opportunity here. We're down to 48 seconds. They ought to be pressuring all over the half court. This plays right into Georgetown's hands. Go out and try to make a steal, even if you foul. Georgetown doesn't get to shoot. It makes no sense to do this. John Thompson will be happy to go in with a 4-point lead. Patrick Ewing gets a chance to stay on that bench. I don't understand this by St. John's. They've got a chance to go out and foul 2 more times.
And they're going to get their last shot opportunity knocked away. Now they'll have to hurry. Williams. And that'll end the first half. Jim Berg handing the ball over. He was the official who was involved with John Thompson. I said, you think about calling the technical? He said, not really, Brent, not at that point in the game. I just wanted to get back to our dressing room. He did not throw it at me. He just kind of rolled it in my direction.
And St. John starts out in a 2-3 zone.
And Martin scores the first field goal for the Hoyas. 34-28. Moses back on the floor. Jackson quarterback the Redmen throughout much of the first half.
And Chris Mullen still seeing that box and 1.
Glass touched the ball after it was deflected out of bounds, so on the turnover it'll go to the Hoyas.
Chris Mullen realizing he's not going to be able to go ahead and force bad shots, so that was a good pass, a little bit quickly thrown.
Wingate puts it down. He was fouled. Glass reaching in to help Mullen, and that's Glass's second personal.
Now, if you'd like to pick on what Chris Mullen can't do, one of the things that he is not real good at is guarding a man one-on-one, particularly a quick man like Wingate. Wingate went right by him. He took advantage of him in the Madison Square Garden regular season game doing that same thing. I think it's important here, Brent, for St. John's to get on the board in the second half. They had to come back from that big deficit in the first, and you probably couldn't survive 2 knockout blows like that.
And Georgetown has just shot its first free throws of the game. So in one way, the little chat Thompson had with the official was successful, wasn't it? On the turnover, off the steal. Williams glides in. And again, the Hoyas jump out quickly as they did in the first half. 37-28.
All right, here you have Jackson picks up Moses, and then he just drops back into that little box. The 4-man zone with Wingate on Mullen. It's been extremely effective. Billy Martin being much more aware of where Barry is this half.
Off Wingate.
I thought Mullen was starting to find some holes in that box and one in the end of the first half by getting more in the middle of the court. He's having a hard time when he gets on the wings.
They ship it toward him. Cut off by Wingate. And again, he will try to stay between the ball and Mullen. Berry putting it down. Wingate fouled it.
David Wingate with the quick hands and the quick feet just reached in on Berry. Berry's got good, powerful hands when he takes it to the hoop. Even when he dribbles the ball in the lane, he's tough to stop. That's usually something you don't want a big man to do, to put the ball down in the lane, but Berry's good at it.
St. John's has now gone 2 minutes this half without scoring, and that touch pass was not anticipated. Another turnover, and again Williams glides in.
Timeout, St. John's. They've got to get a time here. They're letting the game get away from them quickly. They take it. What else is so tough for Louis Carnesecca? He cannot get his horse, Chris Mullen, to be able to get enough shots off offensively to put the points on the board. St. John's shot 59% in the first half. That's 20% better than any other team that played against the Hoyas here in the tournament.
Moses. Glass was going up, didn't put it away. Winnington coming inside of Ewing. Glass again, and Ewing will take it away. They had their opportunities that time.
Martin on a break.
Jackson with the lob, and Mullen came up, and then Jackson reaches back and fouls Glass.
That was a good job by Chris Mullen. One of the reasons that I think that he's so deceiving is he's a 6'7" ball player. So he plays a lot bigger than he looks. He was able to get up and block that pass. Trying to set a screen for Mullen.
Berry will turn inside. Great pass to Glass. When Ewing jumping over, there's an open man.
Number 20, Willie Glass.
Williams missing. And Martin runs it down. Ewing wants it at the baseline. Wingate inside. Winnington blocked it. Loose. Ewing tries to come up. And again, the Hoyas have the loose ball. Now Ewing will take over. Missing. And the Hoyas come inside. Williams drawing the foul. He'll come to the free throw line.
Reggie Williams is amazing. He's a very frail-looking body. But he'll go in the pack and he'll shock people. You'll watch him come from the weak side here. He's going against guys a lot stronger, and he knocks them out of the way. He is really wiry. Might have used that arm to shield off and pick up the foul.
That's the first personal on Berry.
Louis Carnesecca kind of upset because you can't give Georgetown 4 or 5 attempts to score.
not sure that St. John's wasn't better off with Jackson running the team and the freshman Jones on one of the wings.
Well, I think we'll see Jackson in before too long, Brent. You notice St. John's really hasn't had problem with the pressure. Where they've had problems is trying to get Chris Mullen in the offense against this box and one.
Berry outside.
There's the key.
Ewing.
Can't fault Bill Weddington on that defensively. It's just a great shot. Terrific execution on the jump hook.
Berry runs it down. Past the glass, coming inside. Wingate knocked the ball out of bounds. Again, there's always a Hoya coming at you. So much speed, the kind of athlete John Thompson goes out to recruit. Rodnack's almost off Reggie. Winnington again. Berry wanted it. Moses got the roll.
That's Willie Glass riding Martin out from underneath, but the basket's going to count. The shot was released. That's a tough shot for Moses to take. Again, he realized Patrick Ewing is there. Ewing let him have the jumper, but it's hard not to keep your eyes on Ewing knowing he's coming at you.
Williams. Wingate follows up.
Got a situation for St. John's, Brent, down 11. They got to figure out how to get Chris Mullen some shots.
Great hustle.
Oh,
the ball goes in as he falls to the floor. Williams feels it. Follows up with a left hand. Martin coming up. Ball won't go down. Now it's Wingate.
4 attempts. The second time in this half, Georgetown has battled on the boards for 4 shots at it.
They are the champions.
Chris Mullen just cannot even touch a ball, much less get a shot off.
Rodnack, the open floor, but hold on, he traveled.
I was able to get John Thompson's eye, and I gave the travel signal. He looked over, kind of cocked his head. Yeah, I guess they got us that time.
It's a good-looking move.
Yeah, it was a good-looking move. Of course, if you get that extra step, you go by a lot of people.
Moses.
Back to 9, but you get the feeling St. John's has got to make some kind of move.
Moses jumping in, foul Rodnack. Dalton returns for Georgetown, and Jones. Jackson also is on the floor, but Shelton Jones, the freshman, number 31, is back for Louis Carter second. McDonald comes in.
John Thompson, as hard as his players play, he's got to go to the sub to give some fellas a rest. It puts so much pressure on you defensively.
Well, now he's keeping a fresh man on Mullen. Wingate gets to take a break. Dalton's on the floor with Ewing.
You're looking at a man that's only averaging 3 points a game, but he has been a factor in this tournament.
Jones comes inside. sticks with it and draws the foul.
Let's see if Patrick Ewing is charged with a foul. Again, Waller Berry has that ability to be in traffic and get some kind of shot off.
3 on Ewing. Here's Jackson for St. John's.
There's that lineup you were talking about, Brett. Jackson and Jones out there.
Placing Mike Moses, number 24, for St. John's.
Shelton Jones really did not have a good move when he went on into the lane and took that shot. St. John's was lucky to get away with 2 fouls here.
With Mullen shut down so completely for Coach Carnesecca, he'll have to go to using him as a decoy a little bit. He hasn't even been able to get a shot off in this half.
He actually hasn't even touched the ball much in the offense to be able to make a good pass. I think that's almost as much a key to get a shot. You've got to let Chris Mullen get the ball in his hands.
Martin flashes.
Good screen by Ewing. Now that presses a double team.
Foul against Georgetown.
That stat of Chris Mullen 0 for 0 here in the second half really points out what a great job the boxing one has done on St. John's.
As soon as Mullen gets free, somebody checks him down low along the baseline, always keeping an eye. Wingate right with him. Perry comes up, lifts the arc. Hoyer's rebound, and Wingate was fouled.
There's Mullen doing what he does normally so well, coming from the weak side to make a steal. But you notice when Berry shoots, Ewing comes over to try to help. And when he comes over to help, that leaves Whittington open for the rebound. Mullen trying to find a place to hide. He just can't do it.
Ewing. And he was fouled. That's a second on Whittington.
Now you're starting to see the signs of pain on the St. John's players. They realize now they might not be able to make a run against them. Good ball movement as Georgetown was able to swing the ball across and isolate Patrick Ewing on Bill Whittington very close to the basket. No way to stop him there.
It's entirely possible that years from now, we'll be talking about Ewing and this Hoya team in the same breath that we talk about Walton and UCLA, Abdul-Jabbar and UCLA, Russell in San Francisco. Same kind of a dynasty. And it grows mightier as the years pass. Jackson.
When you talk about those dynasties, Walton never took his team to the final game but twice. Patrick has a chance to do it 3 times. Only Lucas and Kareem Jabbar did that. Jerry Lucas, that is.
Williams cut off by Jones and fouled by the freshman.
Kind of interesting here in the second half. Now St. John's was already going to be in the 1-and-1 situation. And in the first half, they weren't even close.
One of the big stories here in Kentucky, as you might imagine, is who will succeed Joe B. Hall as the next coach. From what we've been told, Lute Olson, the Arizona coach, is the definite frontrunner, and they expect to name the successor next week. Lute has been interviewed for the job. He wants it. He's a man who went down to Arizona and turned that program around. And obviously, this is one of the best coaching jobs in America.
This second half reminds me a little bit of what Georgetown did to Kentucky last year. Held them to 9% shooting in the second half.
They were 3 of 33. And they had 2 first-rounders underneath, Turpin and Bowie.
Mullen just wanting some kind of shot.
Oh, he gets up and skies for it. And he was fouled by Dalton.
Now, it is difficult in a boxing one to block out. Your block out assignments are not very well defined. And there was Waller Berry, not touched by anybody, able to go right up in the air and sky for 2. That's one thing you give up. But so far today, Mullen hasn't been able to get a shot off, so nobody had to worry about blocking out. And also for St. John's, they have to start turning the ball over against Georgetown on defense, and they haven't been able to do that at all in the second half.
Ewing gives it back to Jackson.
You just can't find a weakness, Brent. You give up the outside shot, they make it.
And they don't ease up either. They're in great physical condition, the entire team. Mullen.
Wingate let up a little bit. He didn't think Mullen was going to get that ball, but at least you see St. John's starting to get the ball to him. Reggie Williams has a great pump fake first step.
Ewing turns around short. Jones picked it off.
Jones really handles that ball well for a 6'9" freshman.
Short. Loose ball. Wingate duels to keep it free. Then gets it out to Jackson.
Jackson looking for the lob.
Williams.
That's 20 points or so for Williams. A quiet 20, but he's got him. Very gifted. Certainly to be an All-American when Ewing leaves and he gets a little bit more individual attention. Player of the Year in high school basketball 2 years ago. He's asking John Thompson to come out right now. He's a little tired.
Dalton jumping out to help against Mullen.
Chris Mullen sensed that Dalton had made a switch, and he knew that Dalton couldn't handle him one-on-one, so he took advantage of it. Smart play. Well, you know, when you start looking at the NCAA statistics and see how dominant the team Georgetown is, the #1 in scoring margin, team defensive percentage, rebound margin, they just have the whole package. Ron Stewart out there trying to get some rebounds.
What amazes me about this team is the way Thompson always has them ready to play. Traveled like he ran to downtown Louisville that time.
That looked like Walter Berry was trying to run one of those bootleg plays like a quarterback. He put that ball under his armpit and was ready to roll.
That's one way to beat this defense. Just keep it and start running.
Now Stewart and Williams are really banging inside. Stewart was a high school quarterback.
Ewing jumping up.
Very nice block.
And now Berry and Ewing exchanging some words.
Well, when you played somebody 4 times, and it was a call that we made when they faced each other each in the first game that these fellas would probably have a 4-game series this year. We'll see the bumping on the inside. Berry's going to come over and get Ewing. Good block attempt. Temper's starting to flare, though, Brent.
Ewing is 6 of 11 from the field, and he has missed his only free throw attempt in the game so far.
I don't think I ever saw stats on Patrick Ewing like they had in the first half. 8 points and no rebounds. Very unusual game for him. And I don't think he had a blocked shot in the first half either. And Georgetown keeps the press on. They just never let up.
Jackson getting inside. Fouled by Michael Jackson.
Jackson got a break. He kind of tripped on his own foot right there and banged on into Jackson.
And that's the 4th personal on Jackson.
Talking about Michael Jackson, it was interesting to report in the paper here when they interviewed him. He said, hey, I don't want any more nonsense. I just want to play some games. There has been a lot of hoopla surrounding all of these teams, and particularly trying to chase this Georgetown story.
When this day began, we referred to Georgetown's Hoyas as the secretariat of this Final Four. We have seen nothing here this afternoon that would diminish that description of this fine basketball team.
You know, you think about the Georgetown basketball program. When John took over the year before, Georgetown was 3-23, going nowhere.
And even without Ewing and Martin and perhaps Dalton, they will not be easy to deal with next year.
Only in 1943 had Georgetown ever been in an NCAA tournament before John Thompson went there. Just good team movement. St. John's trying to pick up, put a little more pressure on. Good defensive intensity here. Smart move by Bradman. No sense taking a bad shot.
Clock coming down to 7:30.
This is not a total delay, just trying to make sure they get a good layup.
Wingate ships it back outside. Williams holds it.
Stewart can't handle Williams.
Mullen. Now if they're going to start a run against the Hoyas, they can't wait much longer. Mullen coming in, rejected by Ewing. Nothing there.
And John Thompson says, let's go 4 corners and spread them out. This really puts a bind on St. John.
Rodnax hits a field goal off it.
And here's where your pride has to take over a little bit, Brent, because you're really out of the ball game, but you don't want to get blown out of this thing completely.
Berry coming inside. He was fouled.
There's Chris Mullen, 8 points on the day. Second half has only had an opportunity to get off 2 shots. That's something to take 45 points and turn it down to a very tough 18.
That's the 3rd foul on Dalton. St. John's against this defense is scoreless since the 10-minute mark. Last Saturday afternoon, when Georgetown reacted in great jubilation after beating Georgia Tech, I had the distinct feeling that they felt they had beaten the team that would give them the most competition in this tournament. And now you have to appreciate even greater the job that Georgia Tech did. But I don't think Charlie Massimino will forfeit if it comes down to that.
Oh no, it's not. He's not going to do that. He's taking out Waterbury right now, who has to be exhausted, going for a quick team.
Massimino and Villanova, of course, will meet the winner of this game on Monday night. And if you want to look ahead, keep in mind that Villanova put Georgetown in overtime this year in Philadelphia before losing the game. 62-48, 6-13. Moses comes up with a loose ball inside. Wingate and Glass follows in with the field goal. And Wingate commits the personal.
He's going to have the foul on Willie Glass. And as you said, Willie, that Louis Carnesecca is not going to throw any towel in. His players did a good job there reacting. Interesting comment by Jimmy Boeheim, of course, the coach at Syracuse, going to have a great team coming back next year, made about these clubs. He didn't feel St. John's, and he should know these teams better than any of us. He didn't think St. John's could beat Georgetown, but he said Villanova can. That's a very interesting observation. He feels they protect the ball and they use that clock very well. Or the game without the clock, I should say.
For St. John's.
Williams returning for Georgetown. Wingate sits down.
Georgetown sticks with the 4 corners. John Thompson, a great student of the game, picked this up from Dean Smith. His team executes it as well as anybody.
Georgetown's player's foot.
That pass by Broadnax was designed to get Patrick Ewing on a backdoor cut just a little bit too far to have to try to go cross court with a bounce pass.
I think what we're looking at is the Model T, because next year, almost without question, they're going to go to the 45-second shot clock. Glass jumping in, foul Broadnax. That's his 4th personal.
Well, with 5:25 to go, the thing you're trying to do here is just to play good, solid defense. You don't want to go out and commit very foolish fouls. You're down 11. You've got to come up with steals to get back. You can't go and put them on the foul line for the rest of the game. Brett, I would agree with you. I think we're almost set to see the clock in collegiate basketball. This, of course, is the national convention for coaches. And right after this tournament is over, the Rules Committee sits down and designs next year's rules. What we're seeing here, Walter Berry back in the game from the offensive standpoint. Louis trying to get a good chasing team on the court when he's on defense, and Berry back when he's on offense. Broadnax only a 63% free throw shooter on the year. I don't know whenever he misses them, because I've never seen him miss in a ball game. He seems like he's right on target.
And as a team, they're 8 of 11 here this afternoon. And they don't drop back, do they?
They only know one way to play. I bet you Chris Mullen will be happy never to play him again and have to face this boxing one. Obviously, going into the NBA, he doesn't have to play against a boxing one.
Moses.
But one thing going into the NBA he will not be able to do, and that's wear a T-shirt. Both he and Ewing will have to get rid of those T-shirts next year. It's not allowed in NBA play. And here Georgetown just happy to get exactly what they want or use up the clock. You see Georgetown practice so often. They work on those one-on-one moves. Stutter step with the ball, good dribble moves.
Broadnax came through the baseline. They get it back out on top. Time running out on St. John. Moses fouling Wingate. His 3rd personal.
Notice how David Wingate, although he's 6'5", bent over so low to the ground to be able to control that ball. It's impossible to steal it from him. Jackson showing the type of emotion you can expect. Moses, the senior, realizing this is going to be the last go-round. Now, what we have right here, you see the St. John's player, the die is cast. They're making Louis Carnesecca have his players go back down to the bench area rather than just substitute them on in for offensive, defensive purposes.
Had it knocked away from him again. That kind of a frustrating game for Chris Mullen. Broadnax missing, getting it back.
Every loose ball
is going Georgetown's way. They have all game.
Patrick Ewing stayed all the way back down the other end of the court there to see if the fast break would work.
Berry met him and fouled him.
Walter Berry's quite an athlete, but Billy Martin had to jump on him. Billy Martin was going for the dunk on this play. Wingate again dribbling close to the ground, takes it in. Billy Martin had everything going for him. Walter Berry right up there to rip it away, but committed the foul on the arm. Well, Brett, you really have to appreciate the game that St. John's won against Georgetown. That was down at the Cap Center. They had the big lead, 18-point lead at one time. Tremendous display of basketball. And of course, throw out a credit to Syracuse. They're the only other team to beat this club.
Jackson up to Glass. Glass attacks, and he is fouled. And Ewing unhappy about the call. That is the fourth.
Billy Glass showing some kind of athletic ability, putting that on the floor and taking it right at Patrick Ewing.
John Thompson walking over to the radio announcers across the way. Dave Gavitt is one of the color men questioning that call. He thinks that Gavitt's still picking the referees.
You notice John he's just working for Monday night now. He's got himself organized.
And of course the Villanova players.
No, I wonder about Eddie Pinckney. He couldn't come over for the interview. He was sick, and I don't know. Nobody knew whether it was a stomach flu or virus, but he was not able to come over.
He was sick last night, and he played the game, and he went right away into the locker room. But it is not serious. Eddie Pinckney will be able to play Monday night, and the reports are it's not that serious. Martin coming up. 3:19. Chris Mullen has 100 consecutive games, double figures, and in this game he has scored only 8. So Mullen's consecutive string is on the line. Here comes Ewing.
I think Patrick was waiting to get a chance for one of these. He's going to go right over and around Stewart. Extension of the arm and jams it. Look at Bill Wennington there just saying, hey, I've seen enough of this fella. And we'll see him again in the pros because Wennington should move on and be a pretty good pro also. It's been an awesome display here in the second half.
Jackson penetrating, getting it inside the glass.
Willie Glass from Atlantic City. A great leaper. The St. John's Club will be solid next year, even though they lose 3 outstanding seniors. Mullen, Wennington, and Moses. Got a lot of talent there.
Rodnack's the Georgetown bench.
I don't think you should feel sorry for John Thompson either. His club isn't going to exactly have a bare cupboard.
Glass blocks it. Wingate gets it back. It's Jackson, and they get it to Martin. And so it appears as though we're going to have a Villanova-Georgetown final, and as Billy pointed out, Villanova has played them tough in the past. The season before this, they beat them in double overtime. This year, they got them into overtime before losing. And they also dueled away in Landover before falling to Thompson.
Well, Brent, it was amazing. We were talking last night when you said about Georgetown's last 6 losses. 4 of them were committed by 3 of the teams here in the Final Four. Villanova, who played the great game against them last year, upset them. St. John's, it's beaten them twice, and Memphis State.
Airtime for that championship game on Monday night is 9 p.m. Eastern time. Jackson coming through for the layup.
Basketball number 13, Mark Jackson.
John Thompson won't let up. And if Willie Carnesecca dropped back in his zone, John had just hold the ball, so you have to go out and chase him.
You admire the discipline of this Georgetown team. They play together very well.
When you're around the club, there's no question who's the boss.
Absolutely.
You never even question.
It's a tribute to the big bear of a man over there.
And I think, you know, when you go to one of their practices, it's interesting how much humor there is in the practice and how often John will get on some fellas and laugh at other fellas.
You know, a lot of people dislike John Thompson. I don't think John cares. He probably doesn't like too many himself. He just wants to get the job done.
For Georgetown, the 24, Bill Martin, shooting 1-1.
Billy Martin, there's a fella that had the most impressive 1-for-8 day I've ever seen in basketball.
Harold Presley.
Pretty good dresser.
These are men from Mystic, Connecticut. They know how to
understand.
dress it up.
Well, he made that sensational layup, but came up with a lot of big plays. Just a solid game. Really glass battling.
Traveled. 152 now. Chris Mullins, great career at St. John.
Michael Jackson
Coming to a close on an unhappy note. One of frustration for Mullen. He has scored only 8 points. He needs at least 2 more to keep that streak alive, but he'd gladly trade that to be within 4 points of the Hoyas right now.
But it'll be interesting, all the lobbies sitting at the convention. Tough pass to catch.
Ewing sends it back out.
All the lobbies,
Thompson
the lobby sitting with all these coaches talking about the place of this team in college basketball's history. I mean, you have Coach Iba is here, and Pete Newell is here, and it'll be interesting to get their appraisal of where they think this Georgetown team fits in the place of history.
Wingate has played very well today, hasn't he? Especially defensively. He started out this frustrating trip for Mullen. A lot of coaches sitting in the stands here in the Rupp Arena wondering, how do you beat this team?
Well, there's only one more coach who's going to have to worry about it, because Ewing does graduate. This is not the Boston Celtics. Oh, Reggie Williams may have twisted that ankle again, and he did not practice yesterday on it.
And he was limping a little bit.
Hurt that ankle, of course, up in the Eastern Regional. There's Chris Mullen down. That streak will have ended, right, Brent? 100
Yes, it
game.
will.
Just a very well-conceived defense by Georgetown, an excellent execution. They just didn't let Chris Mullen get started.
Rodnack's released the ball, was fouled. Last minute, one thing I'd like to say, I sure would like to congratulate all the good folks here in Lexington, Kentucky. We came back to a small town. This is the smallest town where the Final Four has ever been held, and I've never seen a group of people try any harder than these folks have down here. They've been so hospitable to the players and the coaches and the media. It's been a great trip for everybody. It's a marvelous arena in which to play the Final Four. Ewing leaving, and the ovation was for the big center. Adolph Rupp was a legend down here, and one time he came out, and this place was always full, Rupp Arena. He spotted a woman with 3 empty seats, Billy, and he walked over to her and he said, "Ma'am, what about these 3 empty seats here for the Wildcats?" And she said, "Oh, Mr. Rupp, my husband passed away." And he said, "Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, ma'am, but what about the other 2? And she said, "Oh, well, my son and daughter are at the funeral right now."
I knew you were going to get that in before this game was over. I was hoping it wouldn't be at a time we needed to use some clock.
Apocryphal or not, that's the story of Kentucky basketball. They love it down here. And I'm sure if it turns out to be Lute Olson, they'll be right back stocking a championship, just like these Hoyas at Georgetown.
Oh, what a move by Wingate.
Drew the foul as he came in.
One thing I'm very happy to see, these 2 teams have been such bitter rivals, and everybody who has seen them play anticipated to be some kind of fisticuffs. We're 21 seconds away from that not taking place.
His first personal foul.
Highsmith, Lockhart in the ball game. McDonald in, Martin. You kind of get the feeling Georgetown was expecting to play one more game, and they came out here. They've been all business from the get-go.
Of course, as soon as the game is over, we'll get an opportunity to talk to John Thompson, and Dick Stockton will have some highlights. We'll look ahead to Monday night's title game between Villanova and Georgetown. And there, David Wingate leading. He was superb, especially on defense. Mateen replaces Martin.
You got the feeling if St. John's just could have got out of the box at the start of the second half, but just when they needed the points, Georgetown got another one of those spurts of theirs, and they really never happened in it here in the second half.
Time running now with McDonald taking it to the hole. Highsmith missing the follow-up, and that's it. Georgetown again is going to the championship game, and they will go en masse to shake hands with St. John's, a team they have conquered 3 of the 4 times they met, including 3 times in a row. They fought each other hard all year, but there they are shaking hands.